Hi, so I just thought I'd do a quick video about the brand new HP Spectre x360 15-inch laptop, which was released earlier this month. I don't think it's been widely reviewed yet on the internet, so I thought it'd be a good opportunity to show people who are thinking about this laptop my initial thoughts. I've owned it for a week now, and I've had a pretty good go with the laptop, got a feel for things, and yeah, so here's the quick lowdown. Here we have HP's latest Spectre. This is the eb0001na model with the 10th generation Intel i7 processor. It's got the GeForce GTX 1650 Ti graphics card in it, which is obviously going to give some good gaming performance, as well as great for photography and video editing as well, I believe. And this model has the OLED screen and the anti-glare coating. So I bought it in the UK, ordered it towards the end of April, and it took about 3 weeks to be delivered. It was delivered last Friday, so 8 days later. This is my thoughts on the laptop. As you can see, it's very premium looking, a nice thin aluminium chassis, and we've got on the side the power port here, an HDMI port here. A lot of vents on this model. I guess there's a lot of heat management that's required. Got a headphone jack on this side. If we move around the front, and then to the other side, again there's some more vents on this side. One USB type A port just after the webcam kill switch here, which is really quite small but very solid switch. And we've got two USB-C ports, one here and one just on the corner, which I think is a neat touch for keeping your desk nice and tidy. The power button is actually on the other gem cut corner, just around here. And I have accidentally pressed this this button a few times whilst I've been trying to disconnect the power adapter. So I've accidentally popped the computer into sleep mode, but no big deal. Very easy to return and recover. We just plug in the power here. You'll see what I mean if you ever try to grab something, stabilize the laptop and pull the cable out at the same time. Nice and easy to open up the laptop lid. No need to hold down the base. And this is the 15-inch model. So you can see the keyboard is mainly off to the left slightly. We've got the numpad here, Bang & Olufsen speakers here, which I think perform very well. I mean, it's a laptop at the end of the day. We've got a fingerprint reader, which I've not actually used, but I've been reliably informed it works. And here's the screen. So you can see it's got a bit of a sort of blue sheen to it if you catch it in certain lights. When it's off, let's turn it on. You get immense contrast on these AMOLED screens. The blacks are true blacks. So here is Windows Hello logging me on, and we're straight into Windows, so we've got a very fast boot up time. I've been very impressed with the screen brightness on this. If I just turn it down to its lowest setting, you can see there, Microsoft Teams, let's close that. If I turn it all the way up to the top notch, I think it's been advertised as being 400 nits, which I've found to be more than adequate, especially with the anti-glare coating. I've used it outside on a bright day, and I really didn't have any difficulty seeing the screen whilst I was working. It's really difficult to represent the anti-glare coating on a video, and especially when you're indoors. There we go. So I'll just pop the camera down. Let's flip the screen over. Using tablet mode. It's nice and easy to use. I mean, I know I've not put it in Windows tablet mode. I've used the pen that comes supplied with this particular model several times, and I've been really impressed with the responsiveness, the accuracy, and the pressure sensitivity. Seems to work very well. I must admit I'm not much of a digital illustrator, so I haven't had too much need to use it. We can fire up some apps. Here's Adobe Photoshop, just to give you an idea of how quickly things load. I mean, it's got the latest processor from Intel, the latest i7, so it works really well. There's Photoshop. And I've been working with drone photos that are stitched together, and they get some very high clarity. Another view of the Spectre when it's in 360 mode. I would say that because it's got the organic LED screen, there is the potential issue of screen burn-in in the future. So to be on the safe side, I've set up a screensaver that comes on after 1 minute of inactivity. It's by far the best laptop screen I have ever seen in terms of colour and contrast. However, if there's a trade-off in terms of longevity, then I want to be doing the best I can to prevent it from wearing out. And you can see here on the back a number of vents, probably the most vents I've seen on a laptop that I've owned before, to keep the device cool. It does run reasonably hot when I'm using it, even if I'm not actually pushing it that hard. I guess that's just the way it's been built and set up with its performance. I'm not going to show you any more of that, including my serial number. Okay, let's flip it back over and take a look at the laptop once more. So another view of the Spectre 15 2020 model is the keyboard. The keyboard has a layout I'm not particularly useful. So you can see we've got the half up and down arrows here, but also worth noting that we only have one control key over here on the left. We don't have another control key on the right, which I do find a little frustrating. We have the backslash key down here, and we also have a dedicated, well, all dedicated hash keys, but we have a reduced enter key size here. I'm personally more used to having a double height enter key, and it's taken me a little while whilst typing to get used to this small enter key here. I guess in time I'll just become used to the Spectre's keyboard unless I use an external keyboard. Generally speaking, I'm pleased with the premium build quality of the keyboard and the travel. The touchpad is very good, very accurate, and using the keyboard can get a bit warm when the laptop's running, especially in the middle. But it's one of the better keyboards I've used on a laptop. Just to show you some of the performance of the device, if we just come out here, you can see I'm using some photo stitching software, which is called PT GUI, generally used for stitching drone photos. What I've got here is 8 gigabytes worth of raw drone photos, which I was using to create a high dynamic range panorama. The project's already been set up, and usually this takes quite a lot of processing power to stitch the photos together. I think there's about 30 angles in this. Each one is a 5-shot AEB, so we've got 180 photos technically to handle. So if we just go into create panorama, we're going to be using the GeForce GTX 1650 Ti graphics card here. So if we press create, we don't want to overwrite that, we want to rename that. This is how it stitches the batch of photos. You can see the progress bar there going across. No sign of any increased fan noise or anything. It's handling everything in its stride. So it's a great laptop for photo editing and general graphics design, video processing. I'm going to be using it quite a lot for working in some rather large Excel spreadsheets and general crunching to support the high quality images from the drone just over here. DJI Mavic Pro 2. So we're getting along. I mean, on a previous laptop I had, albeit a bit of an old one, I was running the same software on a i5 processor from 2014, a 4th gen i5. Oh, let's get rid of screensaver. And this process could take up to half an hour on a 6-year-old i5 processor. We can hear the fans are just kicking in now. But the process is nearly 75% complete. I mean, we're talking minutes to stitch the photos with this device, as opposed to half an hour on a old, very much mid-range HP Envy. So the Spectre really is going to make life a lot more efficient in that respect. We're just almost done here. There we go. So I'm pleased with the performance all round. I'm pleased with the screen. To go back to the screen, one thing that can be said is if you do go up close on a light background on the OLED screen, and I'm not sure this camera is going to capture it, there is a slight noticeable mesh pattern, I suppose you could say, which I believe is to do with the anti-glare coating. It doesn't bother me at all because I don't sit this close to my computer screen, and when you're actually admiring the contrast and brightness this far out, then it makes no difference to the use of the machine. And if that's going to help me to see the screen in bright light a lot better, then it's a small price to pay, in my opinion. This model doesn't have the privacy screen that some Spectres from 2019 and beforehand have, so you can view the screen from a range of angles. There isn't any ability to have a privacy screen on this, but I believe that would have probably affected the anti-glare and the brightness. So overall, definitely hands down still the best screen I've used, and I'm very pleased with the performance as well. HP have really done a good job with this. I believe it's not been widely reviewed yet, so I hope you find this video useful. Please feel free to comment, ask me some questions. One other note is battery life is not as good on the model I've got, so I don't want to comment too much on the Spectre model range. I used this outside last week on full brightness because it was a sunny day, and general web browsing, emails, light spreadsheet use, and I got maybe 4.5 hours out of it. So I don't think it's market leading battery life, but it also charges very quickly, and I brought it back in. I couldn't say exactly how quickly it charged, but because I wasn't checking the time, but I was very impressed with the charge up time. So yeah, any comments, any questions, let me know and I'll do my best to answer those for you. Hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching.